And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition of the PiGosaur Monday, number 23, your weekly dose of PiGosaur Monday action. I'm of course Showside VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all to this lovely morning. I totally didn't only get 4 hours sleep. It'll be fine, Bob. Yo, Warning TV Monday lasted a long. It went deep late into the night last night. But it is all good. We are here. We are ready for some more StarCraft. As always, Papi, as always. This morning, in the bottom left-hand corner of our home, we have our American Zerg player, the orange Zerg representing Born Gosu. It is HuntedSwarm. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the American Zerg player, the blue Zerg, representing Formless Bear Sloths. It is Dyncommon. Here we go. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamma time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim this series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our fresh series. Today is Monday indeed. True. I guess this is Tuesday morning, technically. So, hope you're all enjoying this lovely Tuesday morning for the PiGosaur Monday. As we are jumping in, it is going to be the initial 12 pull out of Dyncommon, 12 pull into a later gas. Interesting. But all before the expansion, so a very aggressive build here by our Zerg player. Meanwhile, HuntedSwarm going hatch gas pull. So standard opener out of HuntedSwarm, more aggressive build here by our blue Zerg player. Best of luck in the chat as Lings are going to be moving out. Now, this initial overload will confirm this, but welcome to Arrowhome. Arrowhome is a very small map in the map pool. Very small map. Likewise, rush distance by ground is very short, so I do appreciate the more aggressive build here by Dyncommon. The map does favor him, and the Lings have been spotted. The Lings are soon to arrive. They're going for that natural expansion. The spawning pool here of HuntedSwarm still not yet done, and we'll see if he can maintain himself here as we do have the gas now being prioritized. Remember, it was a later gas, guys, so later Ling speed, so we're not rushing into Ling speed and we're not rushing into Banelings, but Lings are still flooding across the map nonetheless. As again, this was the initial 12 pull opener. Hatchery down to half HP. We have to pull the boys, but we might be just pulling a little bit too late. The hatchery is getting too low. Yeah, it's getting far too low. The boys are here, but yeah, we can just start to step around. We can start to step around, and the hatchery, it looks like it will fall. Massive pick off, denying the queen as well. Queen is denied. Dyncommon does pull out, and with that, HuntedSwarm is in a brutal position. It isn't just that he lost the expansion, it's the fact that he pulled all the boys to attempt to save us. That is so much lost mining time, and in a mirror matchup, this is everything. So with this, HuntedSwarm, he's supply blocked, he's rebuilding that expansion, he's getting to his own Link speed eventually. Speaking of, Link speed is on the way for Dyncommon, and you can see he pulls out. He pulls out a gas, so he's going for purely a Link flood. No Baneling nest, no Baneling support, just mass Link. Overload is being denied, and he's banking up those Lings here in between his bases. He is going all or nothing, and I am concerned here for HuntedSwarm. Now, he does throw out his own Baneling nest, true, so it's going to be Ling Bane versus pure Ling, so Banelings will help so much here in the defense for HuntedSwarm. The problem is the Baneling nest is still in the way, and Link speed is finishing up in a couple of seconds. In a couple of seconds, Link speed is going to be done, and by the time it finishes, the game may end. I don't think we're going to have time to morph in those Banelings. I think it's too late. The Link speed is revealed, does dive into the main base, does get eyes on the tech, does confirm, and here comes the all-in. Here comes the flood. As Dyncommon, he's not going to waste his time with the natural. This time he does go straight for the main, straight for the kill. Ooh, does engage a little bit too prematurely here with some of his Lings. Yeah, Lings are going to go down. Boys are being pulled. HuntedSwarm, can he hold on? It's going to be close. It's going to be close, but he is holding. He does save the queen. Even without the Banelings, HuntedSwarm, he does hold on. Again, that was a bit of an unfortunate engagement from Dyncommon. He did engage a little bit too prematurely with a good portion of his Lings. Did lose them ahead of time. Hatchery's going to go down, but that doesn't matter as much here. Oh. As Banelings are still morphing in. Dyncommon does confirm. HuntedSwarm, he does hold. He's going to be able to hold on. He's going to be able to pick off these Lings, and we should be seeing a counterattack from HuntedSwarm. Don't waste anything there. Oh my god. Whew. Baneling does pull out, does pull away. And with that, it's going to be all or nothing for HuntedSwarm back at home. Dyncommon, he fully walls. He fully walls off. Now, there's only the one queen for support, so these Lings could try to bring this down, but as we see the all-in moving out, we see Dyncommon coming back in with those Lings, coming back into the main base to wreak havoc, to snipe the queen, and to eviscerate the economy. Okay, workers are going to go down. There's no defensive banelings. Meanwhile, the wall is still buying time. That's all that matters. Baneling's trying to break through. He does, but he does bust in. Just barely. Oh my god. Does bust in. Goes to the queen. Meanwhile, across the map. Oh, we actually defend. HuntedSwarm. He does hold on. GG gets called. And HuntedSwarm, who takes game number 1. Hi, hi, hi. GG. HuntedSwarm, he survives the aggression, he survives the all-in, and HuntedSwarm does take a lead in the series. Whew, I was a little bit concerned. I was concerned that obviously the wall would buy too much time and that we would see too many lings coming in to reinforce, but Dyncommon was droning. He was droning up behind this. He was not making lings. He had nothing to defend. He himself also had too much faith in that wall, and with that, Dyncommon, he is broken, and HuntedSwarm does kick things off with that 1-0 lead. Whew, okay, now when it comes to our playstyles here, I mean, hyper-aggression, specifically out of Dyncommon, of course, going for the all-in initially and forcing the reaction out of HuntedSwarm. But we did mention at the start of the game that the map itself was leaning towards that, right? The map itself, Erehome, is a very small map, very short rush distance by ground. Aggression is favored on Erehome. What is map 2? You know, what were our videos looking like, and where do we end up here coming into that second game? Curious. We'll see. We shall see. Fun fact, I just got messaged by Dyncommon and he said I may not be sober. That makes sense. That makes sense. Formless Bear Sauce. Haven't heard that name in a while. Yes, I haven't not heard of Formless Bear Sauce in a long time. It's one of the old school teams in the scene. I mean, same with PiGosaur as well. Both PiGosaur and Formless Bear Slots. It's great to see these two players still around. I mean, I remember casting HuntedSwarm and Dyncommon many years ago at this point. Many years ago. Both their respective teams are more amateur teams. Amateur teams that have been around for a very long time. And here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. Oh, I don't know how... we'll get into it. In the bottom left-hand corner of Leylands, we have our orange Zerg player representing PiGosaur. It is a HuntedSwarm. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player representing Formless Bear Sloths. It is Dyncommon. So we get into game number 2, and we have Dyncommon going for a 15 hatch. Okay, 15 hatch here into a 15 pool. We do have interesting opener from our Zerg player. Meanwhile, HuntedSwarm just going hatch gas pool. Stay that open here. Hatchery into gas into spawning pool should be the go-to here for HuntedSwarm. 15-15 does allow for delayed gases typically, so it's going to be an earlier spawning pool. You can see here the pool is already on the way for Dyncommon. Pool is still not on the way for HuntedSwarm. So because the opener that Dyncommon is going for, if he was being 12 pooled or 13-12, or if our red Zerg player was being aggressed upon, then Dyncommon would be very safe, as he will get an earlier queen and earlier lings to defend. The downside of this opener though, as you can see, no gases. No gases for Dyncommon, or I should say late gases for Dyncommon. Because the gases are so late and because the opposing Zerg player is already mining gas, this typically leads into 2-base roach. It typically leads into 2-base play, 2-base roach. I say 2-base roach, wall off on 2 bases. You can go 2-base muta off of this as well. True, that is also viable. The reason why you stay on 2 bases and why your 3rd base is going to be delayed is because of the lack of link speed. Basically, there's going to be a big window in time where HuntedSwarm has link speed and where Dyncommon does not. Because of that, he cannot be active with Link Bane early on. It just isn't really viable. It isn't really safe, so he should be walling off on 2 bases. And then from there, I mean, the world is his oyster, right? You can go 2-base muta, 2-base roach, 2-base all-in, just open up 2 bases and get a later 3rd base instead. Try to rush into lurker tech or something crazy like that. And you'll have options. Speaking of link speed, as you can see, link speed is on the way. Link speed further behind here for Dyncommon. Now, he didn't delay his gases for too long, so we might see Dyncommon... there we go. as we mentioned, no link speed, we're going to be skipping it. Now, I had assumed he was going to be walling off first. I mean, he's still walling nonetheless, so it is going to be 2-base play, but that is a very fast lair. Because the lair is so fast, I'm leaning towards 2-base muta. 2-base muta would make the most sense here. And HuntedSwarm, he sees the wall. He does see the wall, he sees the Evo Chamber, he sees the Roach Warren. Upon seeing this wall, HuntedSwarm should skip his Baneling Nest. Yep, there it is. Good response, going for his own Roach Warren, his own Evo Chamber. Personally, I would have liked to have seen a faster third. Like, HuntedSwarm has the power here, or has the advantage of having link speed, and does have the advantage of having potentially the greater economy by going into the faster third. But he doesn't go for the third base, so he doesn't have the best kind of position here coming into the mid game, as he's just responding and reacting, which means he's going to have later upgrades and later roaches, and likewise a later lair as well. Whereas typically the response would be to rush into your own lair a little bit faster, and likewise again, get a third base, get a greater economy over your opponents. We have +1 range on the way for Dyncommon, so +1 range tells us that most likely is not going to be muta play. Lair is done, that is true, but as you can see here, it's just for the roach speed upgrade. Now, HuntedSwarm, he can scout, he actually does see this, he does see the Roach Warren researching, he sees it moving, wiggling, jiggling, so he should be aware that the lair is done, he should be aware that he's behind when it comes to lair timing, and the lair is being used for the upgrades. Now, technically, there could still be a spire, there could still be a spire behind this. So HuntedSwarm has to be careful. Likewise, only 3 gases. This is looking like a 2-base all-in. It's looking like 2-base all-in. Basically, Dyncommon, he's going to build up roaches, he's going to kill his own Evo Chamber, and then move out across the map and commit to nothing but an all-in. He will not have lings to reinforce, as there is no link speed. This is where, technically, Dyncommon has been more efficient than HuntedSwarm. Third base is late for HuntedSwarm, but HuntedSwarm, he spent gas on a spawning pool, sorry, he spent gas on link speed, whereas Dyncommon did not. And here comes the all-in. Dyncommon can work as a 41, roaches are revealed, and HuntedSwarm has to mass up as many roaches as possible here to survive. Probably doesn't want to be proactive himself, as it's going to be, I mean, roach speed is about to finish up, he should not be out on the map. A bit of a misread here from HuntedSwarm. He does engage ahead of time, but he's just going to be overwhelmed. He has a smaller roach army, he has no upgrades, he doesn't have +1, he doesn't have roach speed, and he's bleeding out roaches. Bleeding out roaches for free. So misread from HuntedSwarm. Lings, they will help support, but he already lost so many roaches. Lings, they do help quite a bit though. Yeah, they do engage, they tank a lot of shots. Ooh, is it going to be enough? Looking at the trades here, that was of HuntedSwarm, he still came out worse for wear. He lost 7 roaches for the 5 that he had just killed. Lings, they do help quite a bit. And HuntedSwarm, he should be able to defend. Okay, should be able to hold on here. As long as he's able to engage together with his lings. Yep, there we go. He does snipe a couple of roaches. Very nice engage here. Picks off a couple of roaches, pulls away. More lings, more roaches in production. Picks off, what, 1, 2, 3 more roaches. This is going to be more of a trade, but remember, HuntedSwarm does have the defensive advantage. And he's finishing up his is finishing up his upgrades. He's catching up. Ooh, maybe engaging a little bit too soon though. Yeah, without his reinforcements, he's gonna lose all of his roaches. Yeah, he gets overwhelmed. He gets overwhelmed in the end. Yeah, it was a rough start to the fight. Lost all his roaches, and with that, is overwhelmed. With that, Dyncommon, he is looking to tie up the series and to break his opponent with the 2-base all-in. Didn't take a didn't take a 4th gas geyser. He's only just now getting his own 3rd base. Kills the 3rd base of his opponent. And GG, well played, gets called Dyncommon. He will break through, he will overwhelm, and we are going to the ace match. Whew, GG. We are going to game 3. And we'll see how this story ends. Again, I do want to say that HuntedSwarm, he did kind of misread the situation a little bit. He was very proactive with his army despite being down in upgrades, so he bled out extra roaches or more roaches than he needed to ahead of time, and that led into a more difficult defense for him. Likewise, 3rd base was delayed, upgrades were a little bit delayed as well. just because of his initial response, and yeah, we'll see if he's able to recover here. It is always a tough call to make as well. I'm referring to canceling link speed. It is always difficult to make that call to cancel link speed if you see 2-base play, because it could be a fake out, it could be 2-base link bane, it could be a link flood hidden instead. Here we go. With that, we're getting into the ace match here. We're going to be loading into Whispers of Gold. Ooh, another rush map. This is a very small map in the map pool. This does favor early game aggression, like 12 pools, like 13 12s, even 2-base all-ins. It takes very little time to go from one side of the map to the other. So I'm expecting aggression out of Dyncommon once again. Like, he's done nothing but cheese so far in this series. I expect, whether it's, you know, a 13 12, a 12 pool, a 2-base all-in, that's what we're expecting here in game 3. Here we go. So we are loading into that ace match. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the orange Zerg player. The orange Zerg for Born goes to, it is HuntedSwarm. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player, representing four Mr. Bear slots, forcing the ace match. It is Dyncommon. Is it Dyncommon or Dyncommon? Dyncommon? Maybe. As HuntedSwarm going for the proxy hatchery. Okay, wait, also, my apologies, Protoss, I just kind of glossed over that. Never mind. We have Dyncommon going for a PVZ instead. It does mix it up here on Whispers of Gold. I do actually now like the proxy hatch here from HuntedSwarm. Initially, I was a little bit caught off guard by it, but against a Protoss player, this is more viable, as he opens up double hatch before pool. Oh, this is interesting. Wait, what? Double hatch before pool, delayed spawning pool here. It does mean that this probe scout is going to recognize that nothing is really wrong, nothing is amiss, but this also means that there's nothing really to threaten Dyncommon in the early game. I'm sure this is going to lead into spawning pool, into gases, into roaches reinforcing across the map. That would make the most sense in my mind, maybe with like additional creep spread and with like spine crawlers. But yeah, this is an interesting build here by HuntedSwarm. Now, basically, Dyncommon with his scout, he should recognize that there's no gases. Like, the lack of gas is odd. So this is not a standard build when he scouts. He does see that it's kind of irregular, but no response. I would assume, seeing no gases, I would assume fast third. I would assume a faster expansion, just because the minerals have to be spent somewhere. But Dyncommon doesn't check, and he doesn't keep the probe across the map. So, a bit of a lapse in judgment here when it comes to scouting. Doesn't really confirm what's going on. He saw that something was wrong, but not too certain if that really registered. I mentioned before that Dyncommon did say he was drinking tonight. No. Meanwhile, Link Flood, no, slow Link Flood even. The Lings, they do go straight for the pylon. Pylon is going to go down. Oh, the initial Stalker, it's not going to pop. Boys are being pulled, but it's going to be a bit of a later reaction here. The pylon is going to... Oh my god, it does pop out though, the Stalker! Yeah, the Stalker does arrive. The boys, they can focus on those Lings. And the Stalker is going to survive. Yeah, oh good. Oh, geez, so close. Okay, Stalker barely goes down. We have more Lings flooding. It's a slow Ling all in. Slow Lings, they're moving out. And the win condition is to keep everything depowered, to make sure this pylon does not get up. Meanwhile, on the main base, it's going to be a Robo follow-up, not Oracle. Pylon, yeah, Pylon falls, and he's just going for it. He sends it back. He's going into the main. And he wants that Pylon. Boys have to be pulled. Oh, Dyncommon, he can start an Immortal, but Lings, they flood in. Has to be careful not to be surrounded. Oh my god. It does have to be careful here. Probes, they are a threat. A good half of Lings go down. Meanwhile, a bit of a missed rally here as we have Lings attacking buildings. We need them in the main. And HuntedSwarm, it looks like he's done it. Looks like he has done it. Again, there's nothing in production. There's no Immortal. And there it is, GG. GG gets called, and HuntedSwarm will take the series 2-1. Whew. Advancing on to the next round. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Congratulations to your HuntedSwarm. He will claim the series. Whew, very intense back and forth, very cheesy from both players even, and it was an interesting build that he had gone for. Again, as we saw, the win condition there for HuntedSwarm was to depower that first gateway to snipe the pylon, and if you remember, that was on Dyncommon. He did scout that something was wrong. He did scout that there was no gas, but he did not keep his probe across the map. He actually came back home instead. He didn't check for a third base. Typically, as a Protoss player, you would check for the third location. Once you see that there is no third, then you would go back in for a follow-up scout. Then he would confirm no droning. Then he would confirm no gases as well. And then he'd realize something was wrong. He'd wall up, and we'd see a stronger response there. But again, Dyncommon, there was a bit of a lapse in scouting and lapse in judgments did lead into the all-in working. GG. GG, well played. GG, well played. Whew. With that, HuntedSwarm, he does claim the series, and we're going to be following him into the next round. Let's go. Let us go. But shout out to Dyncommon. Again, it's been a very long time since we've casted him. Very long time since we featured someone from Formless Bear Sloths. It was a treat. It was a treat. GG. GG, well played. Always happy to cover some Formless Bear Sloth action. It's been a while. It's been a while.